Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, I think we'll give this just another minute or two because people are still tuning in. First of all, love that you're joining and saying the weather where you are. This is a really nice feedback. So I see that it is, well, definitely cold in parts of the United States. Rain. We got some rainy weather in Italy. I think we're hit with some like classic winter all over the place. Cold Montreal, isn't it always? Just kidding. There's sometimes summer. um, Beautiful. Okay, love it. People are tuning in actually from everywhere. So I think we're all set to start. Um, Welcome to another Expert Drop webinar. Today we have the founder of Anzo.Studio, and we're going to cover how to define your brand and create a portfolio that showcases your skills. But please, I'm going to bring him to the stage so he can properly introduce himself. So welcome. Hello, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm grateful to be here. My name is Anzo, and I'm a founder of Anzo.Studio and Hodo Design. And today we will talk about your professional portfolio and covering the importance of having one, the challenges that you may face during the process, and the key elements of your brand and focus points of your design that will help you to build a strong and impressive portfolio. This is the first, as I understand, the first week studio webinar of the year, and it is a great opportunity for you to learn new tips, to set the goals for the new year, and take your professional journey to the next level.
Love
So,
that.
should we start?
Yes, please.
I do encourage participants maybe to take some notes. Um, So let's start with your professional portfolio and why it is matters. So I think the key here is already in the name. Professional portfolio
Mhm.
is professional portfolio. So that's what makes you more professional. And here's why. Because your professional portfolio is your first introduction to the world, to the market, and to your potential clients.
Mhm.
Secondly, and most importantly, it is also adds credibility
Mhm.
and builds the trust. People seeing that you have done some work um, and can refer to something actual right away
Mhm.
is have more trust to work with you.
For sure.
As well as we all know the saying that first impression matters. And I like to say in this case that your first impression matters absolutely.
Mhm.
Uh, your professional portfolio is something that helps you to shine and stand out uh, from the crowd,
Yeah.
which is actually gets us to the next question is how and what professional portfolio makes you different.
Mhm.
Um, so imagine the competitive market, and there is people who don't have a portfolio, and there is people who have a portfolio. So who do you think stand out from the crowd? Um, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
the main thing here, the most challenging, before we move into the challenges, is that your professional portfolio will inherently help you to understand yourself as a designer,
Mhm.
to find your style, to attract your ideal client. So it is a big work, it is a big project, but it is a foundation for your success. Um,
I actually
and
love that point. Sorry. I think it's so true. When you start building your own portfolio, that's really a chance for you to experiment and to see what your style is like as a designer. I think it's like such a journey that you start going down.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, One of the most important things, your professional portfolio will actually multiply your income.
Mhm.
Um, Whenever you put in, you will have 10 times fall back. Uh,
Mhm.
no matter how much time you invest in it, it will pay back. So um, you will be taken as a trusted professional with the portfolio and will open a lot of doors for you, and it will attract new clients and more business. And the main thing here to remember, I think, that in the market today, the most clients, and especially high level clients, want to work with trusted
Mhm.
professionals.
Mhm.
And your portfolio demonstrate your professionalism far better than sending multiple links over an email
Mm,
or
for sure.
convincing somebody over a conversation of how great you are.
Mhm.
So it works for you. You work for it first, and then it will work for you.
Yeah.
Although, if that would be so easy to do it, everybody will be doing it, and perhaps we wouldn't even have this webinar. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that everybody here thought of it, tried it, maybe started, maybe dropped it, and maybe several times, because there is a lot of challenges in this journey, and we will cover up some, in my opinion, major challenges.
Mhm.
Um, first things first, it's the time, and here we come to like several points. First of all, not enough time.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the time. I don't have enough time. Okay, we've all been there. This is the matter of the priorities,
Mhm.
and in my opinion, again, prioritizing your portfolio as number one project, as the foundation of your success and your future, will help you to open up the time.
Yeah, it can be a bit scary though, no? To maybe not to be actively looking for clients at that moment, to set aside that time to sit down and work. I think it can be maybe you say prioritize. Absolutely, you need to prioritize, but I guess it can be a big step to say I'm going to pause on doing something like finding clients and start investing into your portfolio. But you believe it really comes back to you.
Absolutely. In my
Mhm.
experience, I personally took 3 months
Mhm.
of work, no distractions,
Yeah.
and work like full hours, sometimes
Mhm.
full days,
Mhm.
and not taking any clients,
Yep.
not getting distracted, and
Mhm.
really focusing to get this done for once, and you know, be good. And
Yep.
I tell you what, it changed my entire career, and it paid it back, 10 times during the first year
Yep.
already.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll get to everything else, but um,
That
trust me.
really made it worth it for you, for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, well, although the second thing about time comes, all right, so not enough time,
Mhm.
then you find time, then you have a question, then how much time,
Yeah.
because you visit a little here, a little there, then you forgot about it, then you skipped it. So my approach here is dedicate focused hours like if this will be a project that you took from like an important client
Mhm.
and addressed it that way. So it means set the time, set the days,
Mhm.
stick with the schedule, take it
Mhm.
seriously. And what leads us to the next thing about the time, set the deadline.
Yep.
Because, you know, realistically, we are designers,
Yeah.
and we all pretty much struggle of perfectionism,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to our own selves. We want to be the best of the best, we want to make sure it's perfect, and
Yep.
it can take a lot of time and a lot of upgrades and
Mhm.
and setbacks.
Yep.
So what you do here is actually you set the deadline and whenever it is for you, but it has to be realistic
Yep.
and manageable.
Mhm.
And then when the deadline comes to get closed, you execute
Yeah.
no matter what.
Treat it like any other project you'd work on.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
you have to, execute the project by a
Mhm.
certain deadline for an important client.
Yep.
You will make sure you do that. So do it
Mhm.
here
Yep.
even better.
Yeah.
And what's gonna help you here is remember that you can always add, update, and improve your portfolio later. But it's
Absolutely.
out there because no matter what, you will be growing. You will
Mhm.
always have new ideas, new work to add,
Yep.
and that's the beauty of it. You
Yep.
set foundation and then you add to it. So
Yep.
no stress,
Mhm.
deadline, execute. Uh,
Mhm.
next, next challenge is of course the decision making. Uh,
Mhm.
there's so many decisions to be made, small ones and important ones and very important ones. So how do you go here? What's gonna help you? What's guiding you? First of all, be brave. And
Mhm.
what I mean by this, um, if you feel that some decision is taking a long time,
Mhm.
be brave and make it,
Mhm.
because it is better to make that decision and fix it later or go back to it later than stop the flow and get stuck.
Yep.
So be brave, make decision, go to the next one. What's gonna guide you on making this decision? And this is the perfect moment. Follow your heart.
Yep.
Follow your heart, and it is very important because um, only through following your heart you will really understand what you want to do, what's the best, and what aligns with your goals, what aligns with your dreams, who do you want to work with,
Mhm.
do you want to make, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Because without the heart you will burn out. If
Absolutely.
the decision.
Actually, there's a beautiful comment here. I think I just wanted to pull it up onto the screen because it really jumped out to me. Um, someone wrote here, love Anzo.Studio's site. Obviously, you're going to show it a little bit later. And it's taught me so much analyzing it. I love this point about analyzing it. Do you feel like when you're doing this journey, this discovery of yourself and what type of portfolio you want to create, did you also go and get inspired by other people's portfolios? Was this part of your process?
That's a great tip. Steal if you know how to steal. Feel like an artist. That's what they say. That's
Yes.
the good thing for a designer. Still like an artist. There is even a
Mhm,
book that
mhm,
calls that way, so you can read up on it and understand how it's okay to do that. But that was actually my next thing that I want to say
mm,
is, in the decision making, of
mhm,
course, study the market. So I don't know if I was really studying somebody else's portfolio. It's like to be me, I don't know how much do I need to study.
Mhm.
How is it to be me, or what other people like. It is
Yeah.
important, but more important, my portfolio is not only my creativity,
Mhm.
is the business that I want to make, is my
Yeah.
profession. So I
Mhm.
would say understand the market, understand what are the trends, what are the
Mhm.
clients' needs.
Yeah.
That will actually help you to make choices what to include there and how to express yourself, and
Mhm.
how to find those clients, because at the end of the day, two things have to meet: is what you want to do and what the client's looking for.
Yeah.
So only then it's going to become profession and not just a hobby. uh,
Absolutely.
so follow your heart,
Mhm.
and keeping in mind that this is your best guide, and without it, we're not going to go there. So another thing then comes in mind is that, from what we just been discussing about our
Mhm.
portfolios and what's in the market and stuff like that, is how do you will stand out? How
Mhm.
will you be choosing uh,
Mhm.
for your portfolio? And here's how I want to phrase this: you must find your niche. So
Yeah.
this is a big tip. You don't
Mhm.
have to, but in my opinion, this is one of the best tips that I can give
Mhm.
today, is to find your niche. Period. Why? Well, um, uh,
You
a
know,
lot-
actually, sorry, there's one more comment here that I feel like I have to
sure,
pull
sure.
up for a minute because uh, Lisa really, I think, captured your exact sentiments that you were just starting to build here. I think finding your niche and what you're doing there is you're identifying an audience that you want to connect with. You're identifying the type of client that might be really interesting for you. And by doing all of this, you need to understand, what are their needs, what are their interests, what are their pain points. And I feel like when you capture a niche, you're able to really deeply explore that and have a chance to understand that on a different level. At least that's how I interpret it.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're right. Um, well, because we have to understand here the misconception that
Mhm.
when you do everything for everyone, it somehow is going to bring you more business and
Mhm.
more opportunities. In the reality, is actually the opposite.
Yeah.
When you offering everything, every possible service, working with every possible color, and so with any possible business, advertising yourself like that. So when you do everything for everyone, you compete with
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah,
So
that's
your
true.
competition is everyone who is working in those colors, in those services, in those themes, in those shapes, and so forth.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, when you narrow your list, when you find your need, when you narrow your list, like what is it, what are those services, what are
Mhm.
you gonna specialize in, and stuff
Yep.
like, you
Absolutely.
actually may end up even being a leader and the only one who is offering this.
Yeah.
Or worst case scenario, you will compete only with few people,
Yep.
and trust me, there is millions who is going to be looking for exactly thing that you offer.
Yep. Absolutely. We can really become a master in what you're doing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But I can almost hear the questions. Then okay, well then, what is the keys, like how what is the tips, how do I find my niche?
Yeah.
Here we go back into your heart and to the love, saying,
Mhm.
um, identify first what you love to do. Write it down. Piece of paper, sit down in a
Mhm.
quiet place, take your time, and identify what do you love to do. And honestly, it's not only about the design. Everything will help here,
Mhm.
and because knowing what you love to do will show you up. Well, first of all, you will eventually do what you want to do. You will
Mhm.
enjoy doing what you do.
Yep.
You will do what perhaps you're really good at, or you
Mhm.
will have passion to be good at or
Yes.
best at.
Yes.
And
Excellent point.
it will be visually noticeable. And I mean everything. Maybe you like dogs, or you like to travel. Maybe you're gonna create websites for nature, for travel agencies.
Mhm.
So that's already a niche. That's already, less competition. And
Yep.
also, it is something that you would enjoy more designing than designing something that you don't even want to see, or you don't like that subject, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And again, like you were saying before, analyze the market, understand the
100%.
client's needs and trends. So, like, analyze what's in need, what's not covered,
Yep.
where
Yep.
is like maybe less competition,
Mhm.
or maybe you love something and you browsing for it on the web, and then you realize, oh well, on the back thought, like, oh well, that's poorly done. So maybe you already know the niche where you think people not putting enough attention, and then you can do
Absolutely.
better there.
I mean,
Yeah.
the audience totally agrees with you. I see this comment from Pia. I focus on design and tech for sustainability, mentoring girls in tech and startups. I think this really resonates with the audience. You see that people agree that having a passion and being connected to the topic and to the type of client that you're working with, I think really it goes back to your point about heart, and it really connects you with them and it makes you do a better job for them.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mhm.
when you have those two lists, when you have these two sides
Mhm.
of what you want to do, what you love to do, and what are the trends and what are the
Mhm.
clients needs right now, then you combine,
Yeah.
and you create your unique offering, and you stick
100%.
with it. You stick
Yep.
with it for a while, and remember, once again, you can always expand your services later.
Mhm.
So when you establish yourself, you can expand. Or if you
Yep.
feel that you need to take a little bit left or right, you can do this later.
Mhm.
Execute.
Yeah. Yes, the
um,
execution is important.
well, I think this is the main things that I wanted to share, as far as the theory goes.
Mhm.
And I think we can move and discuss like a structure and the key elements like of um, well-designed portfolio,
Mhm.
and then I will share it through my award-winning portfolio.
Mhm.
Let me go here.
And so do you
Yeah,
want me to pull that up now, or are you gonna
sure.
introduce?
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
sure.
So let's, show off Enzo's beautiful site.
Well, thank you so much,
Mhm.
Anzo.Studio.
Yeah.
So this is my portfolio, and so let's go one by one.
Mhm.
There is many sections, of course, in the website can be done. I prefer minimalism in all aspects of it, and so in the website, we will discuss what I think is the main elements and
Mhm.
sections. So first of all, your hero section, and my advice here is to keep it minimal and convey the clear message,
Mhm.
which means who you are, what do you do, and what makes you different. So in this example, um, it is clear that I am a designer
Mhm.
and I work in a dark mode. So I
Mhm.
create monochrome websites, or I create like dark mode design. And as well, it is says here that I do uh, web design and brand identity design.
Mhm.
So it is who you are, what do you do, and what makes you different.
Mhm.
Mode is what makes me different, and that's my niche.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's very important in your portfolio to include your picture, and it is adds a professional and personal touch,
Yeah.
so people feel like they kind of meet you already.
Mhm.
So don't be shy. Be creative on how you want to include it, but I think it's really good to have it. And very important is to have CTA
Mm-hmm.
right there, because a lot of people, this is not like a shopping cart thing
Yep.
that people go on, on the other website to buy a t-shirt and they like it and they spontaneously just buy whatever feels in that moment. So if people want to do the design, they probably shopping around, and
Mm-hmm.
most likely they're going to come on your website, two, three, several times. And
Mm-hmm.
it's helpful if they have like CTA that leads them to your contact page,
Yep.
and or contact section. uh, Decide what you want to have. You may have both of the website, but CTA should go to the contact. And of course the contact has to have a clear contact options. So if we look here, I have a phone number and I have an email, and of course I have a booking calendar.
Yep.
um,
Very important.
booking op- yeah, so in my opinion, these three are the most important. The booking calendar would be the most important. You can use a calendar like Zoom or Calendly, perhaps, or wherever you find useful, but it has to
Mm-hmm.
be clear that people can go and book a meeting with you right away if they're
Yep.
ready. You
Yep.
know without any third steps. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
your email, not much can be discussed here. Everybody use email. It's perfect. And your phone number. My tip here is make sure your phone number is linked to WhatsApp, uh, in case that you want to work with international clients, so they
Mm-hmm.
can, call you for free through WhatsApp, and, not
Absolutely.
scared about
Yep.
the extra charges. So now, let's go back uh, to the homepage and scroll a bit through the portfolio.
Nice.
The next section, which is important, is about section.
Mm-hmm.
Be creative on how you want to do this. Again, you can have some messages, and that's where actually you can list your services. And again, I decide to stay minimal. It is clear. I do design, I do development, and I work on branding and brand identities, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of clients who wants to website may not even have a logo.
Yep.
And so your about section can also and should also include your core values, um, then soft and hard skills, outshining, your professional skills, your personal skills, and additional skills that can be useful for the clients that may not relate it directly to the web design.
Yep.
Uh, then
Just get a little bit deeper. Let them know who you are, what type of person you are, the way that you work. Just give them kind of the highlights.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, in general, your about section should only include things that makes you unique and tells your potential client why these clients should choose you and not
Mhm.
anybody else.
Yep.
Um, And of course, not last, but the most important is your work section or work page.
Mhm.
That's the section where you can show your work projects, um, and we're going to discuss this section in two things. I understand that perhaps some of you already may have work that's been done and worth showing, and some of you may just starting and don't have work, or the one you have you may not want to show yet.
Yep.
And so these tips that I'm gonna say, they applies to both the actually and imaginary work section.
Yeah.
It is okay to create an imaginary work section, because what the client looking here for is your ability as a
Hmm.
designer to use
Yep.
colors, to use placements, to convey the idea. And so far and so forth,
Yes.
and what has to be here in this section, I gonna jump a little bit back. um, in this section you can have links that, like I have here, for example, that actually leads to the real websites that you have already built. Those will speak for themselves, so it's, always. And
Yes.
so that's the only thing if you have to have for actual.
Yeah.
Everything else you can be imaginary, such as prototypes.
Hmm.
So you can build, I even include some prototypes, on pre-built websites and stuff like that, that can still showcase your skills. And sorry for flipping back and forward. um, I just had to divide certain things here. Now, so prototypes and mock-ups,
Yeah.
where you can show the what you have built, either the website or brand identities. Either it's real or either it's imaginary. When it's imaginary, actually, it's also opens up, a lot of possibility and gives you freedom to create your ideal vision.
Yeah.
And what I think is important is to have at least one case study, and don't be scared of it. If you don't have one, again, create the imaginary, project, and create mock-ups for it, and make sure outline your objectives,
Hmm.
what you're trying to do in this project, our project, which solutions you applied, and of course which results are visual, like
Yeah.
here, or in text, which results you actually achieved. And
Hmm.
um, that will really speak for itself. And even if it's imaginary case study, the client will see the flow of your work,
Hmm.
your expertise, how you
Hmm.
think, and of course how well you design.
Yes. Actually, there's a comment over here. Um, Philip is curious what the idea behind the astronaut is. Is there a story? Is it something that you just connected to for this site specifically, or did it have any kind of like greater inspiration for you?
Okay, well, that's a beautiful question. So in my perspective as a web designer, and my vision is that internet and the web design, or Vig Studio
Hmm.
canvas,
Hmm.
is like infinite universe,
Yeah.
so where everything is possible, and you as a designer, you are creator in this universe,
Hmm.
and it is in infinite possibilities of yours and of others that you will be working with,
Hmm.
to create their you know their planets, their stars, their
Yeah.
galaxies,
Yes.
whatever you
Yes.
mention. So that's why space, I mean, that's
Yes.
how I perceive it.
Yeah. And another story I just thought, Christy actually she mentioned twice. Um, that you are so like concise with the way that you put together your portfolio, how you're a designer, you're a dark mode designer, that you're very bold, clear, very inspiring statements. I think the audience definitely is connecting to your messaging and is definitely feeling the the energy that you were trying to put out in your portfolio. So
Thank you so
that's
much.
fabulous to see.
Thank you so much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, I feel that it is time for more questions.
Okay, let me just take a look over here because I saw some more. Um, okay, we have I'm a book cover artist. How many projects are ideal to show? I think this is a great question. Like, do you want to be concise about how many client sites or how many examples you're going to put up, or is it kind of the more the merrier vibe over there? How do you structure it?
There is a saying that applies here as well: quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So no one will look for 20 or 25. Well, perhaps some, right? So show your best work, you know? You could be one or two or three of you, but show you the best ones.
Yeah.
Because as you design, as you move forward, you actually will have more and more and more. And every time, most likely, you know, is going to be better and better and better. And the work that you have done 2 years ago, maybe you not even want to show 2 years later.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, you also need to refresh it. You don't wanna just leave it constantly sitting there. Like, take a look at what you've done, update it again, bring in fresh things. You wanna make sure that you're always going back and making sure it's your best work.
yeah. When
Mhm,
you go to buy a t-shirt, it doesn't matter if they have 1,000 good t-shirts. You only need the one,
mhm.
you like. So
Yes,
don't be afraid, you know,
yes.
show the best work, be brave, express what you are,
Mhm,
what's your specialties, and follow your heart,
mhm.
in this process, and you will attract the right clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sorry, there's another question here that I wanted to pull up. Aaron was asking, any advice for someone who doesn't have a niche and is doing a lot of very different things? Like maybe you would suggest focusing on training, going to events. Like, how would you kind of push yourself if you feel like maybe you're still finding your way in the market?
Sit down, uh, pick up this recording after it's ready and out there. Go to the part where I was talking about the niche and follow that. It is
Yeah, you
better.
just got
It
to
is better
explore.
to find your niche. It is
Mhm.
better to sit down and do it. You
Yeah,
know and whenever it takes, if you
yeah.
have to go somewhere to have more inspiration, maybe perhaps that's the way you get more clarity of what you want
Mhm.
to. But I'm sure that everyone knows what they want to do, really.
Yeah, yeah. There's something deep down that's connecting you to the type of portfolio that would really match you as a designer and what you're offering.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and so do you wanna wrap up on a few more things? I thought maybe in the meantime, I'm just gonna scan through because there were tons of comments that popped up. I just wanted to see if there's anything else that I would love to share. Um, oh, okay. I think this is a really nice one again from Pia. Um, Sometimes clients want things that they design. And maybe, it's not necessarily what made you so happy, like it was their vision. And I think actually that's what you were trying to say before, that the reason why building concept sites can be such a powerful tool is that not every site you design at the beginning for your clients is going to be the most beautiful, or maybe something that you feel showed off your skills as a designer. So sometimes it can be better to prioritize a concept site rather than an actual client site if you feel it's not really, matching your skill level or matching your full potential. Do you
Exactly.
yeah.
But if I correctly, I also understood the question. It was about, like, what if the clients wants you to do
Mhm.
something that maybe you don't want to do
You
and
don't
stuff
connect
like
with.
that, right? You
Mhm.
don't connect with. Well, first of all, don't be afraid of those clients, and don't
Mhm.
be afraid to find your niche. there is going to be always clients. Like in my case, I do black and white, monochrome, dark mode, but people love your work, and people love my work. And so they come and say, well, I love what you do by every other aspect, but I want to have some green in there, or
Yeah.
I want to actually more brighter side, but I want you to do it, and you will have that as well.
Mhm.
People who in love in you as a designer, who wants to work with you through your portfolio, but they want to do something else, and it's fine. And you can act as you wish here, but you can always respond based on the demand, and as well, again, follow your heart or follow the needs that you have. If the
Yeah.
project pays well, and sometimes the projects doesn't pay well, but the client that you're talking to are really nice, and it's really engaging to work
Yeah.
with that person. The end story, you may help somebody to build their portfolio or to build their idea, like
Mhm.
me. For me, it's like creating their planet in that universe. Everybody have a space there, it's not for me to judge. But I give you a secret: if again intuitionally you feel right away, no, no, don't follow, no for money, no for anything,
Yeah.
just don't take it, because
Yep.
tomorrow or day after, you may have another one call you, but you're already going to be busy doing something you didn't want to do in the first place. And a lot of times that does not lead to your satisfaction, and you may
Yep.
gonna get burnout, and then
Mhm.
and lose interest for a while, and on and on and on. So try to, no matter how scary is it, if you can, try to work with what you want.
Yep.
At the
And
beginning they say, yeah, take all the
mhm.
opportunities, but be careful, think
Yes.
over it, and
Yes.
I wouldn't say take all opportunities.
No.
And and people say, well, it's a good practice. Well, it is a good practice if you found your niche and you know what you want to do. It is good practice if you sit down with a Vic Studio and create a template, and
Yep.
create, like, and a design that you can still show in your portfolio as a mock,
Mhm.
or as a prototype, or even with link to the website in development. Just phrase
Mhm.
it like that.
Yep.
Nobody needs to know what's going on, but then
Mhm.
you will be still having an experience.
Yes.
But
And
that's my opinion.
I'm first of all, I agree with that, and I think that sentiment has been shared by other guests who have come on, who really focused on this kind of concept of the power of saying no and not needing to take every client that comes your way. And I
Oh,
think another absolutely. I think another really nice question that I wanted to bring up here from Linda is she asked, when you're planning out your designs, like how are you doing it? Are you sitting down? Are you making drawings? Are you working in Figma? Are you planning with wireframes? Like, how do you do that kind of initial stage?
I'm not trying to promote Vic Studio here more than it needs to be, but here's my key. I like to execute,
Hmm.
because I don't like to be stuck in deciding how should I start,
Hmm.
and start.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. I do use Figma, for improving my skills, on my vision, or
Hmm.
dropping things around. But what I realized personally is that, um, I only, play with Figma, but then I have to go to Vic Studio, and then I have to, work on the design. Why do I do twice the work if I have to still, design a real
Yes.
website? So a
Yeah.
lot of times I go and try and do things on the Vic Studio,
Hmm.
and I do use the templates that are
Hmm.
there. And no, most of the time I actually redesign the template 100% or
Hmm.
99%.
Yeah.
What was there is and how was there is gone, but it helps me because I don't need to sit and come up with something, take my time, go around the circles for walks
Yep.
and la 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 before I start. I take the template and
Take a
I start
base.
changing how I want. And
Hmm.
that takes me right away in the process, and that
Hmm.
creates in my mind, the flow. And like I said, it maybe there is no any other need for this template. There is nothing left of it after I'm done, but it took me in. So,
Mhm.
through fixing somebody's how I would do it is
Yep.
actually getting me involved in actual work.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is also a great comment, that you can create assets in Wix Studio and then you can save them for other design projects. I'm a big believer you don't need to start from scratch for everything. If you've created a section that really works, you make a beautiful section that you think you can apply to many different sites. So change the style, change the color, change the font, rearrange. You don't need to start everything from scratch. You can pull things that you've already created and invested your energy into because you know they work and because you know that it's a really great section that's going to be applicable to lots of different types of sites.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yeah. Enzo, we are getting to almost at the end. I would love to hear if you have some kind of great takeaways or tips or just something that you feel like you want the audience to walk away with that's really gonna help them on this next
Absolutely,
journey.
absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for your time, for your commitment, and for your engagement today and in general. And I want you to remember the key things. First of all, that creating your professional portfolio is the foundation for your ideal professional future.
Mhm.
And follow your heart, stay brave, and enjoy your journey.
Yes. Yes, I love that. That's really like, I think the audience is so with you. As you can see, Ivan just mentioned so many good pointers. I think this has been an excellent talk. You really hit, I think, so many great ideas and directions that people can follow when they're going down this journey. So, first of all, thank you so much for coming and joining us and for doing this wonderful talk and providing all these tips. I just wanted to remind everybody, of course, this is recorded. It's going to go up on our Academy. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. You can't miss it if you want to go back, like Anzo said, and take a little trip down memory lane and get all those tips because they are fabulous and they're definitely going to help you on this journey. So, thank you all. Thank you again. And I hope that you will join us for our next Expert Drop webinar. Have a wonderful evening or morning, depending on where you are. Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye bye.